Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around and talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have some updates and some other stuff that I want to get into before this matchup against the Ravens on Monday. So let's just jump straight to this video. Starting off, we have a huge injury update status for not only our team, but for the other team as well. Let's just jump straight into it. So we still don't have any more knowledge about Marcus Davenport's injury status, and we don't know any more than we did on Monday. Lions coach Dan Campbell said on Thursday that the team is waiting to get an update on Davenport, who suffered ankle and shoulder injuries last game against the Bears, as he did in Wednesday's appearance on 97.1 or 97.1 the ticket. Campbell reiterated that they don't have any further updates until the end of this week. So Davenport didn't practice on Thursday, the first day of practice ahead of Monday's game for the Baltimore Ravens. Also not practicing for the Lions, however, which this is an um, was Jack Campbell, Taylor Decker, and we already said the other guy. So that's not good. That's not good. Campbell missed time last week with an ankle injury, while Decker missed the entire week of practice stemming from a shoulder ailment. Both players were full go in Sunday's game, though, against the Bears, and they were playing pretty well. The positive news on this, however, is that Dan Skipper, who missed time with the recent injury, is back at practice. So the team has added to its tackle depth with Decker being kind of out dealing with that. So what's bad about this whole situation? What's really bad? Well, obviously having starters out is bad, but why are these starters so important to our game plan against the Ravens? Well, we need Jack Campbell for Lamar Jackson, right? If Lamar Jackson's going to scramble, if he's going to get out, we need Jack Campbell to be ready to close him off, to be getting the closing speed, right? Our linebackers are not necessarily super speedy, but they're really good in coverage, and Jack Campbell's a good run stopper. So we need him to be ready to go and not let Lamar sneak out of the pocket. Decker being gone is going to be rough. But on the other hand, their outside linebacker, Vinoy, their best pass rusher, is also out. So that kind of gives me a little more comfort. And plus, I have faith in Skip to step up against their backup guy, whatever. I think Skip is a fine tackle, and he can absolutely hold his own when he needs to. Finally, though, Davenport being out is going to be rough, not for this game, but just for the future of this season. And it's starting to feel like last year all over again, guys. Depth being Muhammad is slim. Our depth behind Muhammad is really slim, and we can't afford another injury. We honestly can't. If Muhammad goes out, then Tyree Sweet's going to step up, or what? And then what happens if Hutch goes down? For God forbid Hutch goes down. I'm not sure what we're going to do. Although, to give Al-Qadim Muhammad credit, he performed quite well against the Bears when he's had to step up. He showed promising production in practice. He had a sack against the Bears. I'm not too stressed about Al-Qadim Muhammad. I'm stressed about what's going to happen after Al-Qadim Muhammad if he goes down for whatever reason. I think it's definitely something to keep your eyes on right now. It's definitely stressing me out a little bit, but I mean, we talked about it all off season, and Dan Campbell is very confident that their defensive end room needs no additions right now. So I guess we just roll with what he's going with. But I am a little worried, and I think Lions fans have a right to be worried in this situation. It is a little scary. Good news, though. We do have some good news. Ali McNeil, Detroit Lions defensive tackle McNeil, just got crossed over the 9-month mark since his torn ACL in the team's loss against the Buffalo Bills last December. I remember that one. Dan Skipper scored a touchdown. And while the recovery time for a player of his size can sometimes reach a full year or even more, the Lions defensive standout recently gave a very positive update to Detroit Football Network's Justin Rogers. Per Rogers, McNeil said that he feels 93 to 94% recovered from his injury, thanks to all that relentless rehab in the offseason. The process, which included physical, red light, and shockwave therapy, has been exhaustive, according to him. But he's been back in Detroit with the team since May, and he believes that if he had to go out there and play on Monday, he said he could. I don't want him to, but while it will most certainly take him some time to get back to the field, get acclimated back with the playing, and feel comfortable again, and be ready to go 100%, right? Not just feeling 100%, but playing 100%. It's going to take some time, right? It's obviously going to take some time, but when he's on the field again, hopefully this is positive news. That means he'll be hitting the stride just in time for a playoff push. Just have him right back to go crazy for the playoffs, maybe even beforehand, maybe to just get ready to go, get those last few wins we need. I think we're absolutely going to need him to be super productive in the offseason, or postseason rather. So let's go Lee McNeil. I'm glad you're feeling better, brother. And then finally for the Ravens, just some updates for the Ravens for all you guys. The news is that 3 defensive starters were not spotted at the start of today's practice. Cornerback Nate Wiggins, outside linebacker Kyle Vanoy, we knew that one, and defensive tackle Namdi Madubuike. Fullback Patrick Ricard and nose tackle John Jenkins were also not present. So, I mean, I'm not going to get excited that players are injured. That's messed up. But this does kind of give, because of our situation with some of our guys missing, this kind of, I don't want to say evens the playing field because that's scummy, but it definitely makes it less stressful on us. We're definitely not going to be the team going in with all the injuries, having to fight an uphill battle on the road, right? So this is definitely like, okay, let's keep this in mind. Maybe now our coaches can kind of plan around that. If a cornerback's going to be gone, we start to hit the backup guy a little more. Just saying. But that's what it's looking like injury wise. Let me know what you guys think. What's their biggest takeaway from this? And what do you think we can do to prepare super well for this upcoming matchup now with this knowledge that we have armed ourselves with? We're going to move to our second topic where Dan Campbell just kind of shares his thoughts ahead of this matchup. So Lions already putting Malik Cunningham to work days after signing him. We're already getting our use out of him, right? So before making the conversion to wide receiver, Cunningham played quarterback at Louisville and entered the NFL as a quarterback. But at the University of Louisville, the 6'1", 190-pound Cunningham completed 62.6% of his passes for 9,664 yards, 70 touchdowns, 29 interceptions across a 5-year career. He also added 3,179 rushing yards, and 50 touchdowns on the ground. We know Cunningham wasn't the same type of dynamic, right, playmaker, explosive playmaker as Lamar Jackson was at Louisville. We know that already. But he was still effective as a dual threat signal caller, and the former Cardinal hasn't had much time to play quarterback in the NFL after spending time with the Patriots and the Ravens, kind of going to the wide receiver role. So for a team like the Lions, who don't have a dual threat quarterback in our roster, or the practice squad for that matter, Cunningham can really help us, give us some knowledge, emulate Lamar Jackson in various plays and packages. The former QB turned wide receiver ran a 4.5340 at the combine, which isn't blazing speed by any means, but it's faster than what Detroit has on the roster for QB, and it definitely gives us more experience, more help with those kind of situations. So what has he been doing already? Well, he's already been running drills for the defense, emulating what Lamar would do in certain situations, right? Pocket presence, where he would go, where he would lean, as well as helping the coaching staff with certain gives on what the offense likes to do, or advice on facing Lamar, just period. What changes to make if he's doing something a certain way, how to quickly get out of a situation, just stuff to kind of help us along. And Dan Campbell didn't give us too much on this because he didn't want to give away the game plan, obviously, but I think he's going to be a really, really, really good piece for us. And they've already mentioned in the press conferences that they're not just bringing him along as like a 1 week guy to help us with a matchup. They really like what he does, and they have him in the wide receiver room getting a lot of stuff going. So I'm excited for that. Dan Campbell is very, very aware of the challenge they're going to face in this game. During a media conference, he went over everything they need to do well in order to win, and was even name dropping guys on the Ravens of just players he needs to keep in mind. He even brought up DeAndre Hopkins, saying like if for some reason DeAndre Hopkins gets on one-on-one with one of our guys, he might get scared that DeAndre Hopkins just goes up and makes an OG D-Hop play, right? Like, he's got everyone in mind on this team, Roquan Smith especially, from an offensive point of view. So what does he have to do? He also mentioned that they are going to have to that they were looking forward to the game rather, and that the team was really excited to go into their house and get stuff going. He gets fired up for these kinds of situations, which gets me excited because then I don't have to be worried about, a road game like this really affecting morale, right? Campbell's big point out of this whole thing was that he wanted to see the team perform better on the road against a really good team, right? We've gone in and given BTA to like lesser teams, right? Whatever. That doesn't really wow me, right? This is now a situation where it's going to really gauge what we're about for the rest of the season against high level opponents when we're not at home. Um, because we don't have our huge crowd. Baltimore's got a good crowd. They got a good fan base. This is going to be a hard game, and we're going to have to. I mean, if we get blown out this game, I'm going to be disappointed. I wouldn't even mind a close loss, but this is definitely going to have to be one we fight for. Um, and he's got a point. Campbell talked about the thought of a shootout, which he said even wasn't guaranteed against the Ravens, despite their elite offense. He noted that our defense is going to have to play extremely disciplined to keep them out of the red zone because of all the different stuff they can do with their offense. There's so many different things we're going to have to look for and remember. And saying that tackling and vision are going to be two of the most important things to keep going through the whole game. You know, tackling, making sure we're not letting Lamar squeeze or slip out of 4 tackles before he makes a 40-yard play downfield because we gave him enough time. Also, vision, making sure we're not letting anyone get free lanes because we're so fixated on one part of the game. You know, Lamar keeps rushing and getting away from us. Everyone's eyes are on Lamar. Now there's some receiver just wide open, some tight end wide open, linebackers not in coverage. This is the kind of stuff he's really talking about. He wasn't too concerned about the explosive plays for us, on the other hand, because a lot of reporters were saying like we're gonna have to get a lot of explosive stuff going to JMO and have to get ahead early. He wasn't too concerned about that, saying that he just wants first downs in simple football until we can really establish a rhythm and then get into stuff we want to do, right? He's not worried about going on the opening drive and throwing a 60-yard touchdown pass to JMO. He wants to get first downs. He said first downs, first downs, first downs until we can get in a position where we can do explosive stuff and kind of offset their defensive rhythm. And I think that's a really good point he made, and we should just stick to it at that point, right? So that's that. That's what we're going ahead against. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. We're going to quickly move to our third topic. Just Tyleik Williams. Are we getting value out of this guy? I say yes. Tyleik Williams has been doing well for us and showing us promise despite not any flashy highlights so far, right? Despite a recent injury setbacks and some early career challenges, he made a solid NFL regular season debut, performed strongly in the preseason, is earning praise from veteran players like Hutch for his improvement and strong run stopping abilities, which we needed another guy like that. And he's been working back from a leg injury he got during OTAs, which caused him to be limited early in training camp, but it appears to be behind him at this point. Analysts and coaches praise his combination of power, quickness, and technique so far to become a strong run-stopping force, which is primarily the reason we drafted him in the first round overall. We needed a guy like that to kind of anchor our defensive line. And he's seen as a player who can honestly just develop into a significant contributor, right? With enough work and development. We got him seeing like the raw talent he is, and we're like, okay, our coaches are great. We can turn this guy into an absolute superstar, and that's what they took the risk on. So far, he's showing great flashes. I'm just waiting for that eventual breakout where he finally gets comfortable enough to start just manhandling offensive lines. And I'm really excited for the day it's going to happen because it's not a matter of if. I think it is a matter of when at this point. He has batted down balls, stopped some good runs. Tyleik Williams earned an elite run stopping grade of 88.6 from Pro Football Focus, which ranked him among the top tier defensive linemen in FBS and a standout in his draft class. His elite run defense grade was accompanied with a strong run stopping rate of 7.8. That doesn't sound like a huge number, but with the amount of run plays that happen per game, that's a pretty good stat. Honestly, almost 10%. That's a pretty good stat, and I will take that. I say it's worth the pick. Honestly, worth the pick a little later in the first round because he's just raw talent. The upside on this guy is so huge. I can't wait to see what he does. In college, he had 11 and a half sacks, 28 tackles for loss, 136 combined tackles. He had a forced fumble, he returned a touchdown fumble. Like, he's got so much potential, and I'm so excited to see what we do. So if you don't see any flashy plays on ESPN yet of him getting a sack or throwing 2 guys to the ground and stopping the running back, don't be too worried yet. We're still developing him. He's starting, and he's doing a fine job starting. Just wait. The big plays will come with more development. And finally, because we are running out of time, Isaac Taslot. This is a little appreciation post for Isaac Taslot because we've mentioned him and the cool stuff he's done, but we haven't had a post for him. So the rookie Taslot has quickly made an impression with his big playability, especially the one-handed grabs. Know that. A highlight reel touchdown in his season opener, and excellent athleticism, earning the highest Pro Football Focus grade for any offensive line player in his debut game, despite limited snaps due to prior illness. So he's like, he doesn't care. Flu game, why not? His his powerful athleticism and speed have also made him a standout on special teams as a gunner. So he's doing it all around, right? He's doing his due diligence as a rookie. Tesla was also noted for his exceptional athleticism, scoring a near perfect 9.93 out of 10 in the combine athleticism tests, which ranked him top among all the receivers in his draft class. How did this guy fall to the third round? So does the kid get another one-handed catch? So far, he has two catches with two hands, not four hands, folks. Two catches, two hands. St. Brown made a joke on his latest episode on his podcast, the St. Brown Brothers podcast, saying that he told Tesla to go for another one-hander just to keep the streak up, and that he would cover for him if he dropped it anyways. So I think that's awesome. I only see this guy's career going up, up, up. Yes, we will eventually see him drop the ball. The magic will feel like it's lost, but that it's not what it's all about. This guy just seems like an absolute steal for a third round pick. Such athleticism and knowledge for the sport, and is such a deadly combo that he's been putting on display. His physique combine size 6'4", 214 pounds with a 4.4 40. Oh my lord, making him just a threat in so many different situations. Teams are really gonna have to start watching this guy if they don't want to end up on ESPN top 10. With that being said, we are out of time today. Thank you so much for watching this episodes of Lions Latest. If you made it to this point, tell me what you think about Tyreek Williams. Do we just keep waiting? Are you excited to see what he does as I am? And let me know what you guys think about the injuries. What is that going to make a difference for us in this upcoming game? Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, smash the bell so you never miss a single video here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Go Lions!